how do you find working with the Canadian companies different than your past experience when you worked with companies back in Bangladesh?
It's a tough one. Like comparing like different industries is a double-edged sword. So like, but what I believe is like, as I said, like I've been working for like almost a year in this Canadian space, and I've been working for 7 years in the Bangladeshi space. So I don't want to make a like just a general comment on this one. This is what I saw. This is coming from my experience, and I don't want to offend anyone in the industry anywhere it is. So in Bangladesh and Canada, like the first thing I actually felt a complete difference in terms of things is like test automation. Like in Bangladesh, like we have a very uh, manual testing scenarios whenever we are developing softwares, and I didn't and we have a dedicated team of software like QA engineers who would test your software. But in Canada, like it's uh, it's the duty of the software engineers to write the test. So you build it, you ship it, you own it. No one will test your feature for you. So I am the tester, I am the owner, and I am the builder of my own features that get shipped. So if I uh, code something and this code gets deployed into production, it is assumed that I myself have tested it enough and I own that feature, not the product manager, not anyone. So this ownership and the test automation, actually, I see a very big difference in terms of like Canada and Bangladesh. Second thing is like I would say like volume wise, though there are like more people in Bangladesh than Canada, but I think like uh, the number of user base we serve, the number of uh, user base we serve here in Canada is a bit bigger than the number of same thing that we used to serve in Bangladesh. Okay, but there are fantastic. There are like many big apps in Bangladesh that actually have more users. But like I was not fortunate enough to work on those companies as well. But yeah, so I think like in general, in a general view, like the user base is very big here, and the impact you have like makes a very ripple effect onto the systems you have. The third thing is like as I'm working as a senior software engineer, and also in Bangladesh, like I have been working senior roles in many of the companies. I think like the curation of the technical documents is very less in here. Like you don't write a technical documents for your team, you don't, nothing will get approved. What I believe in our Bangladeshi cultures, like it would be better if we could maintain those documents in a proper way. Not that we don't maintain it, we maintain it, but it's not as curated as it should be to make your life easier when in terms of like maintaining the systems and everything. So that is the one. And another thing is like what I believe is that like the role ownership. So in Bangladesh, like a senior software engineer is mostly required to write the code, design the system, ship it off. But in here, like it's like you are mentoring the junior engineers. You are talking to your external stakeholders. Senior engineers plays a very vital role in terms of like leadership position. Like internally you see like the senior engineers are the one who actually like driving all of the things into this culture. Okay, the managers that are above the senior level engineers are just managing the expectation onto different culture, but you as a senior engineers will define how the system would be going forward and how, and those are the expectation from you. And also as there are be intermediate engineers, junior engineers beneath you, you have to mentor them correctly. And also like whenever you putting something to any of the people, it has to be very well prepared, it has to be very precise. You don't have to like go all around the place saying like I have done this, I have done this, I have that. No, like this user, this person needs 20% of the information, just give him 20% of the information. So being precise, structured, and prepared actually comes like I feel this big void in terms of Bangladesh and Canada. So if you want to be in as a senior software engineer in Canadian space or any North American country, you have to be very precise, very structured, and well prepared. when it comes to delivering things. Because whenever will be getting promoted in your career, all of the things will be evaluated, like where you precise, where you structured, where you prepared, whenever you have been doing. So I think those are the things. And also like collaboration in terms of things like, most of the time as a senior engineer you will get exposed to many things. You will be spiking down a single problem, you'll be learning new technologies, you'll be learning new tools and everything. But if you keep all the information inside you, that is not making you a senior engineer. What is the expectation of the senior engineer? You will write some blogs, you write some documents, you would take a lunch and learn session with all of the team members, that I have learned this, see if these things excites you or not. So these are the communication capabilities that a senior engineer should have. And I believe like in terms of like when I left Bangladesh, like some of the things have been improving, but I think like there is a lot of room to improve in terms of like those things.
Awesome. Well, that was a very informative answer. Definitely a lot of difference between how companies operate back in Bangladesh versus how they operate here in Canada. I myself worked in India. I moved, 7 years ago. But then day to day, I'm speaking with senior engineers because at Canada Mentors, we are working with talent that's global and people who are looking to relocate to Canada. We help them find opportunities with companies here. And there is a big lack of this mentoring and coaching ability that I find in engineers back in India. Um, as a senior engineer, they are not very structured when it comes to helping other developers improve their craft. If you ask them, what is your role as a senior engineer, it's mostly about architecture, it's mostly about the code, it's mostly about helping the company scale. Mentoring and coaching doesn't exist. It's more like just I mean it doesn't exist, honestly. I mean, and it's very hard for them to understand why this is so important. Because here I feel a big difference too. If you are a senior developer, if you have that senior word in your title, you need to, I mean, you must help others improve their coding skills. You must help other junior developers improve their craft, and that's like 20-30% of what a senior developer is doing day to day. So I feel a lot of people back home, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, countries, a lot of South Asian countries who have a very similar work culture. I think if they are interviewing with companies here, they need to know that the importance of mentoring and coaching and how important it is, especially with the North American companies. You also mentioned about the playbook, having technical documentation. I think that also is something that doesn't exist back home. Um, keeping the code clean, so that if you have a new person coming in, they can read the documentation and start right away, instead of juggling between tasks and trying to understand and then move through the chaos. So if you have a playbook ready for them, they can go through it and then they are good to go in less time. So yeah, well, amazing, great points there, Raju. I'm sure anybody who watches this video would get a lot of help in terms of what they need to do, and how they need to prepare for their interviews with companies here.